Yo. All right, we have the what is this? Top 10 fastest players in the NFL. Shout out to Blitz. I don't know if this is going to be fastest players of all time or current. If it's current, I think obviously Tyreek is either going to be one or two. He may put Xavier Worthy at one or two, and then I mean we should have JMO up here. Maybe Waddle. But I'm curious, is he going to use their miles per hour or is he going to use their 40 time? That's what I'm curious about. But let's see.
Some of the
Shout out to
fastest
Blitz.
people on the planet play in the NFL. And every year, the players get faster. This past season was no exception. While we all obsess over 40 times, a player's on-field speed is what really sets them apart.
Bro, we were just talking about this on stream yesterday, reacting to the wide receiver highlights from the combine. Like just watching these players, the 40 time doesn't really translate like to like some of these guys will look faster than their 40 time, or their maintained speed is much faster than their 40 time, like past 40 yards. Or, even looking at some of their 10-yard splits, there's guys who ran low 4.5s, but their 10-yard split is the same as a guy who ran a 4.3. So it's like the acceleration is there for sure. And again, you may see some of these guys excel, and maybe they'll top out at 40 yards. But I do think the NFL should make players do 100 meters. I think that'd be it's not necessary obviously for like linemen, but for skill players, and I'm honestly even DNs, because DNs nowadays are running 4.4s. So I think they should have players do, if not 100 meters, 100 yards, because I looked at it, 100 meters is 109 yards. So do 100 yards, and you just like how they track the 10-yard split, just track the increments of 10 yards, and you'll get, where players hit their top speeds. And again, I think measuring somebody where, again, how fast they can clear 60 yards or whatever, I think that might be more relevant than just 40 yards. And again, it shows you where a player hits their top speed. This guy may not hit his top speed till 50, 60 yards down the field, 70 yards down the field, you know what I mean? Or he can maintain his top speed, which is very impressive. A guy that comes to mind is Odell. I was just watching prime Odell Beckham. He used to be able to maintain his top speed so well, bro. Like, it would just look like he's in the same gear and everybody else is slowing down when he gets to his top speed. But yeah, I'm curious where this is gonna be specifically touched on, that like where the foundation.
So these were the 10 fastest players of the 24-25 season.
Okay.
And starting at number 10 is a back who's been hitting top speeds since entering the league in 2020, Jonathan Taylor. And
Bro, that form looks so crazy.
back who's been hitting top speeds since entering the league
He look kind of stiff.
in 2020, Jonathan Taylor. And he quietly had an insane 2024, because JT had two of the top 20 fastest runs of the season, surpassing 21.5 miles per hour twice throughout the year. The slower of the two occurred during Week 16 against the Tennessee Titans, and the Colts' 38-30 win was largely due to this 70-yard touchdown run, when Taylor hit 21.54 miles per hour. But it was a few weeks earlier where JT earned his place amongst the 10 fastest players. In their Week 10 matchup against Buffalo, he got it going with 5 minutes left in the first quarter. All he needed was one huge block by left guard Quentin Nelson, and Taylor took care of the rest. He sprinted for 58 yards, blazing for a ridiculous 20.
They lost some of their O-linemen, didn't they? I think they lost like 2. That's kind of tough, because they've had a good O-line for like, I feel like the last like about 10 years. They've had a good O-line. For sure JT's whole career there, that maybe 5 years. They've had a pretty good O-line. But JT a dog, man. I ain't gonna lie. Top 10 back in the league for sure right now.
21.56
It's a lot of
miles
good
per
backs.
hour. But Taylor has also hit the 22 mile per hour mark in previous seasons. In 2021, he coasted past the Patriots with this 67-yard touchdown for 22.13 miles per
JC
hour.
Jackson?
However, teams are well aware of the home run speed JT has. So sometimes it's the unexpected players that really catch the defense off guard. In 2024, Jerome Ford had just 565 yards in 14 games, but
Yeah, he's
did
fast.
average 5.4 yards yards per carry and was the 9th fastest player in all of football. He showed that speed in Week 15 against the Chiefs. Cleveland was down 21-0 in the third quarter. Then, on a 2nd and 23, Ford took the handoff from Jameis Winston and scampered for this 62-yard touchdown. During this run, Ford hit 21.7 miles per hour, which at the time was the fastest run of the year. It was also the fastest by a Browns player since 2019. The last Cleveland player to hit speeds of that level was Nick Chubb against the Ravens, when he reached 21.95 miles per hour. In fact, Ford is one of the fastest Cleveland Browns ever. Man. He has the top 3 fastest times for a Cleveland player over the past 5 years. But some of the fastest players on the planet have been playing in the league for nearly a decade. Derrick Henry is one of the biggest and strongest running backs the NFL has ever seen. But
he's another guy, again, his top speed, I don't know if he hits it in 40 yards, bro, but he can maintain, whenever he hits it, he can maintain it, man. This dude's an animal, dog. Different breed, but I've been, we see Derrick Henry's workout videos, bro. This dude, he worked hard, bro, every offseason, dog.
But what's mind-boggling is that at 6'3", 247 pounds, he's also one of the fastest. In the 2024 season, he had 2 of the top 20 fastest runs in the NFL, the slower of the 2 being in Week 5 against the Bengals. In overtime, he had this 51-yard run that reached 21.46 miles per hour, and this run set up Baltimore for their 41-38 win. Then, just 2 weeks later against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Henry had an even more impressive performance. He had 169 yards on the ground to go with one play that should be considered for play of the year. Because on this 1st and 10, on Baltimore's own 9-yard line, Henry hit the turbo for this 81-yard run that at the time was the 2nd longest carry of the year, and his speed 21.72 miles per hour. But as we climb this list, it's not just running backs who show off insane speed. In just 2 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, Jordan Addison has quietly become one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL, which is shocking because during the 2023 Combine, he had a 40-yard dash time of 4.49 seconds.
But I'm telling you, bro, the NFL needs to measure. If they don't want to go 100 yards, go 80. But I think they should measure past the, and I think, honestly, I think you'll get faster 40-yard times because they're running past 40. They're not slowing down. They're not letting up. They're running through it. They have no choice but to. But I think measuring past 40, which is like the 40-yard dash has such a big brand at this point. Like I highly doubt they'll do that. But I think it makes sense for them to measure 100 yards, man. I mean, the field is 100 yards. Not too many players need to run that much, It's only you maybe get 1 or 2 players a year that has a 90-yard touchdown, but I think it'll give you a better idea of players' actual speed and, again, the I guess analytics of it, the breakdowns of it, which are, I feel like, very, more important than just
making him just the
short range
21st
speed.
Fastest receiver of that draft. But on-field speed is very different from track speed, and Addison showcased that on multiple occasions in 2024. He had one run in Week 11 against Tennessee that's a prime example, because on this 47-yard touchdown, Addison reached 21.09 miles per hour, his 2nd fastest run of the year. But during Week 7 against the Detroit Lions, Addison took his speed to another level, because Detroit's extra coverage on Justin Jefferson allowed Sam Darnold to make the read, dishing the ball to Addison for this 51-yard gain. And he was able to hit 21.8 miles per hour. But sometimes it takes just one insane run in the snow to make this list.
Oh,
Buffalo's James Cook
I didn't expect him to be on here.
2024 with his 2nd
fast,
straight
I
season
didn't
of
expect
over
that.
1,000 rushing yards. He also tied Derrick Henry and Jahmyr Gibbs for the most rushing touchdowns
Gibbs
of the year
gotta
with
be on
16.
here.
But it was during Week 13 against the 49ers where James really cooked. In this game, he had 107 yards on 14 carries, putting up a season-best 7.6 yards per carry. He also had his longest and fastest run of the year. Halfway through the 2nd quarter, Cook dashed for this 65-yard TD to increase the Bills' lead to 13-3. But the most impressive part was his speed on that run, 21.85 miles per hour. Doing that in the snow, it's just ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as all the madness of March, which is why this episode of Blitz is brought to you by DraftKings. When it comes to college basketball and March Mania...
Sorry, Blitz. Shout out to you, big dog.
the season started. 2024 was a year that made Houston Texan Nico Collins a back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver in just 12 games.
We got Nico on here? What? This is all very unexpected. I mean, and not to say that these guys are slow, but again, you know, when you think of the fastest guys in the league, you just think of the fastest 40s, you know? I mean, straight up. So, again, I think another argument where I think the NFL should track, you know, past 40 yards.
With a player who showed off his speed right when the season started. 2024 was a year that made Houston Texan Nico Collins a back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver in just 12 games. But Collins' fastest run of the year arrived early in the year because in the very first week of the season, Collins went off. In Houston's 29-27 win over the Colts, he had 117 receiving yards on 6 receptions and 1 massive catch. In the second quarter, C.J. Stroud found Collins between Nick Cross and Julius Brents for this 55-yard snap.
That's crazy.
And on this play, he was able to reach 21.89 miles per hour. But some might ask, what's better, a Super Bowl ring or being one of the top 4 fastest players in the NFL? Why not both? Saquon Barkley had arguably the fastest and greatest offensive season ever, and the numbers prove it.
It's crazy, dog. Like, I was saying that during the season, even reacting to some of them highlights for Saquon, man. Like, he looked faster with the Giants. And maybe he was faster, maybe he wasn't, but he was. It's just surprising to see his speed this year. Where I don't know, bro. It's just kind of lost for words. The O-line just did such. It was a perfect complement, perfect combination with the Eagles O-line and Saquon Barkley. But I don't know what I think. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look. I think I was questioning because I was getting a lot of feedback on it, but I was questioning, was this the fastest that Saquon looked in his career? I don't know.
In 2024, Saquon set the record for the most rushing yards in a season with 2,500.
I just contradicted myself right there, but
and led the entire NFL.
I'd have to go back and watch them those older videos.
20 miles per hour, but that's
5 runs of 20. Oh my gosh!
Every single category that you can pick for a running back, he's at or right behind the top spot. He's been absolutely sensational.
Because out of the 5 fastest runs of the year, Saquon had 2 of them, and out of the top 14, he had 4. We'll start with the slower of his 2 wild runs. That came in Week 12 against the Rams. And Barkley had arguably his biggest game of the year because he had 2 touchdowns and the most rushing yards in a game of his entire 7-year career with 255. But it wasn't just the totals in the box score that turned heads. One of those 2 touchdowns came on this 72-yard rushing TD, where he hit 21.91 miles per hour. And it gets faster, because in Week 7 against his former team, the New York Giants, Saquon had another explosive performance that included 176 rushing yards, a touchdown, and his fastest run of the entire year. In the second quarter, Barkley broke free on 2nd and 10 with this 55-yard run to get into Giants territory. This run hit 21.93 miles per hour. This, at the time, accounted for the second fastest.
Well, we just got spoiled here because BTJ is up here. Nico Collins, Saquon Barkley, BTJ. So, Cavante? I guess Cavante is going to be up here as well. I don't know why he posted this early. He should have blurred these out. But, oh, this is midway through Week 7. Never mind. Oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah. I think I was saying Saquon looks faster right now than he does at any point in his career. I did see some clips of him with the Giants, like watching some highlights, and he did look quicker. He did look a little faster, but I think he's just never had the opportunity to run as far as he did, or have these huge runs like he did with the Giants, like he has with the Eagles, which is crazy how he had that many opportunities in one season. It's just insane.
Fastest time of the season. But it does get faster than Saquon Barkley's record-breaking season. In fact, some players are so fast, they get nicknames because of it. Just ask Jahmyr Gibbs, or as you may know him, Sonic. Not only was he one of the top 3 fastest players of 2024, he had one of the greatest Detroit Lions
seasons ever. This dude is an elite
ever.
talent
In
already.
just his second season, Gibbs put up 1,412 rushing yards. But there were 2 plays that really stood out because of his speed. One of them happened in Detroit's Week 11 52 36 drubbing of Jacksonville. While Gibbs only had 69 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown in this game, it was his 1 reception where he really took off. In the second quarter, Jared Goff tossed the ball to Gibbs and he went for 54 yards, topping out at 21.8 miles per hour, until he was finally caught by Ventrell Miller. Then in Week 8, Gibbs hit next-level speeds. Against the Titans,
Wonder how fast
he had
Mr.
his
Miller was
second
running.
most yards on the ground with 127, and a touchdown on his longest and fastest run of the year. Jameer broke through for this 70-yard run, reaching 22.03 miles per hour. Just one of 3 players in 2024 to top the 22-mile-per-hour mark. So, who were the other 2? Well, not only did Brian Thomas Jr. set
So
Jacksonville
BTJ up
rookie
here.
records
That's
and
crazy.
make the Pro Bowl, he also was the second fastest player in the entire league. In 2024, he did just have one.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of iffy on BTJ, and it was mainly because it was just so many big plays at LSU, bro. It's just like, I don't know if you could replicate this in the NFL. Like, I just don't. It's just he has so many big plays, and yeah, it's just it's tough to see, like tough to expect that to translate versus like a guy just breaking down people with routes, and I'm seeing like some nice contested catches underneath, and I'm saying big plays here and there, but he just had a lot of big plays where it was just I don't know. Like I said, I just didn't know if it would translate. I was iffy about it, but yeah, bro's nice. He is nice for sure. Can't deny it.
Run in the top 20, but that run is the reason you see him this high on the list, and he did it on a wild play. Week 5 against the Colts. In the second quarter, the Jaguars found themselves down 7-3 on a 1st and 10. Then Trevor Lawrence found Thomas in between the coverage, and Thomas took care of the rest, taking the ball all the way to the house. And on this 85-yard reception, Thomas hit 22.15 miles per hour. Just one of the many accolades from his all-time rookie campaign. But there's one player who was able to outrun all these speedsters. Meet the fastest player of 2024, KaVontae Turpin. The Cowboys.
I bet I know which play he did it on too. I bet it was that game against the Texans. He was in a slot. I think Jeff Okudah was covering him. I think that's what it might be. I could be wrong, but he just took off, man. That or it'd be that or that kick return touchdown he had, one of the two. But I think it was the play against the Texans.
Receiver out of TCU has gotten faster every year. In fact, in 2023, Turpin was already showing potential to be the fastest player in the NFL because in Week 4 against the Eagles,
No Tyreek on this list is crazy. Wow.
he had the 5th fastest run of that season, an explosive 22-yard touchdown reaching 21.91 miles per hour. Then 2024 showed what Turpin could really do. Because during Week 11 against the Texans, he had the fastest game of the year. Despite a 34-10 loss, Turpin had 86 receiving yards and one very memorable reception. To start the second quarter, the Cowboys were down 14-0. Then it happened. Cooper Rush found Turpin as he beat Jeff Okudah to the inside and took off. On this run, Turpin topped out at 22.36 miles per hour, which is just cheat code level speed. If you enjoyed this video, stick with Blitz, subscribe, and check out some of our other content.
Good vid. Shout out to Blitz. Drop a like. Yeah, that's surprising. No J-Mo, which is interesting. But I mean, some of the names on here, actually, there were some names I was not expecting. I was not expecting Derek. I'm not gonna lie. That's reasonable though, super reasonable. I was not expecting James Cook. I was not expecting Nico Collins. But even like Madden, they got to do something about this, man. Like, I think Turpin got a 95 speed in Madden. You got to go ahead and get that boy 99. If he is back to back 2 years in a row had the fastest mile per hour time, then y'all gotta fix that. There's no reason why he should be 95 speed. Yeah, but NFL, yeah, I think 40-yard dash. I'm cool with the 40. I like the 40 just because it's the tradition, it's the history of it. They've been doing it for I don't know how long, but you gotta extend it, man. Gotta extend it. Gotta go bigger because these players obviously, again, you can still track the 40 because you'll get those times with the laser in increments, but Um, I think knowing where a player hits their top speed at and how long they can maintain that top speed tells us a lot more than just a 40-yard dash. Because I think a 40 could be deceiving. Because again, breaking down a 40 and you can see a player's 10-yard split. If I got a player that runs a 4.5, but his 10-yard split is a 1.48, that guy is very explosive. That's a very explosive player. And what that tells me is once he gets the ball in his hands and he gets to open field past that second level, he's gonna take off. And again, because that 10-yard split is the acceleration. So just because that's not just this 10 yards when he's coming off the line, because he's not coming off the line full speed, coming off the line at a pace when he's running his route or coming out the backfield, coming at a pace. But then once he gets to open field, he hits that it looks like it's another gear because again his acceleration is so quick, and it'd be tough for players to just catch up because he just created a nice gap of separation. But yeah, I think it's important to stretch it out and track it in increments. But yeah, KaVontae Turpin, 99 speed on Madden. Need to give it to him. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comment section. This is a pretty cool video. Very unexpected. Like the order of this was just cool. Subscribe, stay tuned, stay blessed.